presented by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati that actually urged our Srila Prabhupada to have some urgency in his spiritual life because he was kind of taking his time in family life and or maybe taking his time in his profession and what he was doing at that time. But hearing his Guru Maharaj speak on this verse, not only Srila Prabhupada, but Srila Prabhupada's dear godbrother, who even he called, he said was his Shiksha Guru, Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, who I believe he composed the Namaste Saraswati Devi, uh, Gauravani Pacharine prayer. Yeah, but Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, he also he was with Srila Prabhupada attending these classes, and they both approached Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, Srila Prabhupada, and asked, how to apply this to their life. And so we're going to share this. Actually, coincidentally, this verse was the verse I was memorizing when my wife was going through labor, and she was very angry at me because I kept resorting to my books and things like that. But this is what I was learning when Abhiram was coming to this world. Um, so anyway, this is a very nice verse. But before we begin, we'll actually share some other verses. So, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye. Maybe one of you can read this right here. No, that's not it. Oh, is it 4? I think it's 4. Yes. Maybe Stella, you want to read that one?
Where is it?
The
second one?
the red. Read the red.
Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, Narayana, unto Narayana,
Rishi.
supermost human being, unto Mother, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author.
Very good. That was very nice. They're not common names for an American person. So very good. So before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, we offer our obeisances into the lineage of knowledge coming from the Lord, how it's coming to us through Narayan Rishi, Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and then ultimately Srila Vyasadeva. Shrinvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridyantastoya Bhadrani Vidunoti Sahritsatam. Maybe Divyanshu?
Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, Super Soul, in everyone's heart is the benefactor of truthful devotee. Cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee, who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted.
That's very good. So Shrinvatam Swakata, those who are hearing his own katha, Krishna's own katha, punya, their virtues, Shravana Kirtana, virtues automatically come. Krishna, another name for Krishna is Punya Shravana Kirtana. It's one who acquires virtues by hearing and chanting Krishna. So if you are finding yourself overcome by unvirtuous activities in your life, you need to hear more and glorify Krishna more in your life. So actually, Raghunath Das Goswami, he talks about this. He says asach cheshta kashta pradavikata pashali biriha prakamang kamadi Prakata pathapati vyati karai. Gale badva hanye hamiti bakabid vartmapagane. Kurutvang putkaran nabati sayatha. Tvangmanahitaha. So he's saying that such cheshta, which is like unvirtuous deeds, kashta, prakata, kashta, prada vikata pashalibiriha. So are like torturous, dreadful ropes, iha, in this material world. For kama and kamadi, headed by lust and licentiousness. So this desire for this sexual taste that we all, this is common in the material world. These are like the source, comedy, Prakata Pathapati Vyatikarai. They're like assembled aggressors on the open road. You might be trying to do your duty nicely in this world, but then all of a sudden, the lusty desires, they come just like you're going down the road and some thieves and robbers are ready to mug you. And instead of having you do virtuous good deeds, they convince you to do, uh, you know, well, they bind you with their torturous ropes of wicked deeds, and then you fall into all kinds of nonsense. And then, um, but he says, Gale Badva Hanye, they've bound my neck. They've bound my neck. Gale Badve Hanyeham, and they're killing me. Uh, Gale Badve Hanyeham iti. So thus, Bakabid, which is Krishna, the killer of Baka, the Baka demon. Vartmapa Gane, so the ones who show the path to Krishna. Kuru, loudly, tvang, you, futkaran, call out, avati for protection, sayata, so that they, as a result, tvang mana itaha, they'll deliver you. So if you're being overcome by, um, you know, this, this kind of, all kinds of not things we're not supposed to be doing. You call out to those who are for the protectors of the path of Krishna. So these are the Vaishnavas, the devotees. So this is Raghunath Das Goswami. And so what do you do amongst them when you call out to them? You do this Shravana and Kirtan. So you always want to gather with the devotees and hear from the devotees, and this will purify you. And if you're falling, I don't know why. It's because you're just not doing enough Shravana and Kirtan. So it's a simple remedy for everyone. Even myself, I'm one of the reasons I'm going to India is I'm also feeling dragged down, like the in many ways, and I really just didn't know what to do. But me and my wife both were, and we just really didn't know what to do about it. And she was chanting, and she was like, "You have to go to India." And I was like, "I'm not gonna go to India," like the baby and you. I don't want to miss a whole month of his life. But actually. That's the most important thing. So I'm going to share the verse that tells you how important this is. But Hridyantasto Hyabhadrani, which is very nice. So within one's heart, Hyabhadrani, certainly the desire to enjoy matter by Shravan and Kirtan, Vidunoti Surhitsatam, you'll be cleansed. Suhrit Satam, and he's the benefactor, Satam of the truthful. So if you're just honest, with we have a tendency to be very duplicitous. Actually, that's very funny. Raghunath Das Goswami, he talks about duplicity as well. Um, but we have the tendency to be on the outside one thing, but on the inside, something completely different. And this actually makes us kutinati, or like a hypocrite. Yes. And this is actually Kali Yuga. It's a symptom of Kali Yuga. Is we're not straightforward and we're actually hypocritical. On the outside, we put on a nice show. Look at my robes. Look at what I'm doing. I'm very nice. But on the inside, we have all kinds of dirty intentions, and we try to hide them from others as well. So, what to do? This actually hear of Krishna. And recite Krishna, and then you'll be cleansed. And if you still have some tendencies towards these things, which is normal in the material world, everybody has these tendencies in this material world. And yeah, you have to position yourself to hear more. But Raghunath Das Goswami, he has a very funny. This is one of my favorite verses about this very thing, this duplicity. Oh, I'm good, Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Nama, like Dandavat Pranam, or all out external things, but on the inside, all kinds of other things are going on. So, what does Raghunath Das Goswami say we should do? He says, Are cheta pradyat kapata kutinati barakara. Ksharan mutre snatva dahasi katham atmanam apimam. And then he says, Sadatvam Gandharva Giridhara Pada Prema Vilasat. And then he says, Sudambodho Snatva Swamapi Nitarang. Swamapi Nitarang. Is it Tvang Bhajamanaha? It might be. Hopefully that's it. But what he's saying is that this he's praying to his mind, and he says, Adecheta Pradyat, this fully developed Kapata Kutinati, so this full-blown deceit and hypocrisy, this kind of facade that we're putting onto the world, and this hypocrisy, it's like very large. Barakar, it's like a great donkey, like a great donkey. And Ksharan Mutre, that's trickling urine. Dahasi, and burning us. Katham. So why are we engaging? He's saying, why are you bathing? So he says snatva, before he says dahasi, he says snatva. So we're bathing in this trickling urine. So if we are not honest, like in this Suhritsatam, if we're not a truthful devotee, Krishna is not going to come and benefit us. So if we can't reveal our struggles to, say, our senior Vaishnavas, if we can't reveal what's really going on behind closed doors and things like that, like for instance, so many people in the world, and now Indians as well, it used to not be so prevalent, but struggle with pornography and masturbation and things that are just really like, and they're very ashamed of these things. But I actually remember one of the boys I had here. I remember one time we were just having a conversation in front of the deities, and I'll never reveal who it was, but he revealed to me that he was struggling with this, and I was just kind of taken aback, but it actually made me realize, because every American boy definitely struggled with this at one point, at least a normal American boy. This is a very common activity. But this is one example of something we do behind closed doors. But if we're not honest, and we can't reveal what we're struggling with and our vices and that which is really bringing us down, um, we're not being a truthful devotee, and then we're actually acting hypocritical. That's what this kutinati in kapata, this deceitfulness is. So what we actually have to do is, like highlight where we're struggling. You should find somebody you can trust. You can't just say everyone shout to the world all of your sinful activities that you do that you don't want anyone to know that you're doing. But you really do have to find somebody that you trust, and in particularly a guru figure, or maybe even like a shiksha guru, because like you may not want to tell a great saintly personality, something like that. They might be a little um, you know out of place, but you do want to find somebody you can confide in and how to overcome. But actually, Raghunath Das Goswami, he says, how do we get rid of this kutinati and kapata, this deceit and hypocrisy? As he says, Sadatvam Gandharva Giridhara Pada Prema Vilasat. So he says, always Gandharva Giridhara, which is Radha and Krishna. Pada Prema Vilasat, whose feet arises love, real love, prem. Sudambodho. So this nectarian ocean, snatva, you should bathe in this instead of this hypocrisy, pretending one thing and doing other things under the, uh, you know, behind closed doors. Sudambodho snatva swamapi nitaram. And you should bathe yourself thoroughly in this, in the feet of the Lord, and bathe yourself thoroughly in their devotional service. Um, Mam cha, oh no, that's why it didn't make sense. It's not Tvang Bhajman, it's Mam cha sukaya. And then we can actually be happy. Because we all just want to be happy, no? Yes? Yes. But the thing is, we just don't know what will make us happy. We think these things will make us happy. But the nature of sin, or things that you're not supposed to do, is they actually cause people suffering. That's what the nature is of sinful activities. And it doesn't, and you may argue, well, how is, you know, like how, you might say, how is me masturbating behind closed doors causing anyone else suffering? You may ask like that. But actually, you're the one suffering the most from this thing. But also on top of that, it also is creates a culture of exploitation. A culture of exploitation of other, um, you know, living entities, seeing that, like you two are to be married, you two are to be married. Satvik, you'll probably get married one day, but if we see each other as bodies for our pleasure, and try to see each other as sources of bodily pleasure, we're completely minimizing who we really actually are, who you are and who you are. This is actually what's happening. And then you start to exploitative behavior between each other will happen. And you start doing like almost like business transactions. I see memes more than I should on social media. And one of the things I see is a lot of men struggle with, because it's common culture in American society that to regularly indulge in sex life, but they're finding that a lot of the women are doing it as like a chore, like, oh, just so he shuts up, and like a lot of the men are complaining about this, and but yeah, it's just all based on illusion, because we're thinking, one, this urge to do it in the first place, where is it coming from? It's all coming from illusion of who we actually are and what actually is going to make us happy. A spiritual person cannot actually be happy doing unspiritual things. And you're a soul, you're a spiritual person. You can't actually be happy doing unspiritual things, because that's not who you are. So you can't be happy extracting bodily pleasure. It's not just sex. I mean, food and all these other things. You just can't be happy doing these things. It's impossible, because that's not who you are. It has nothing to do with you. So if you really want to be happy, you have to do that which is eternal. And that which is eternal is you are intimately connected with God. And if you serve God intimately, that can actually make you happy. And no matter where you are, what phase of life, you can always do that, even from a child. Abhiram is starting to engage in these activities, but it's even when all, it doesn't matter, this life, the next life. But all these bodily pleasures, they're very temporary, and you have to mature, ripen to be able to enjoy them to the fullest, and then they'll go away. So anyhow, these are some things. But this verse is very nice. We say it every day for Bhagavatam class. But vidhu noti suhritsatam, that person will be cleansed who is the truthful devotee. Um, you know, uh, and Krishna he's the benefactor. He's Suhrit. He's like the friend of the truthful devotee. That's who he's the friend to. He's not the one. He's not acting as the friend to the Kapata and Kutinati devotee, who's full of tricks and deceit and hypocrisy. So this verse is very nice. So we chant it every day. And then next verse is Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityang Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Utamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So he's saying, maybe Satvik, you read this one.
Be regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam, and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, All that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as a irrevocable fact.
Very good. So Nashta Prayeshu is destroyed almost to nothing, like almost completely destroyed. Vajreshu, so all that is inauspicious, so anything that doesn't belong, anything that is causes suffering and misery will be completely destroyed. How? Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Nityam is always, so regularly. Nityam always. Bhagavata Sevaya. So Bhagavat means two things. There's the book Bhagavat, which we're reading right now, and then there's the person Bhagavat. And then they're equally as important, but maybe arguably the person Bhagavat will be even more important. But if you render service always to the Bhagavat, whether trying to live by its teachings, serve the personalities, what'll happen? Nashta Prayashvabhadrishu. Everything, all that's inauspicious in your life will be completely destroyed. Bhagavati Uttama Shloke, and who is Bhagav? So the Bhagavat, the personality of Godhead, Bhagavati, who's named Uttama Shloka, which is like transcendental prayers. It's like a name of Krishna, he who's worshipped by transcendental prayers, by the highest shlokas. Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Bhakti, which is this loving service, this is the thing we're trying to cultivate. Bhavati comes into being, Naishtiki, and it'll never be taken away, irrevocable. So anything inauspicious will go away by how? Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, regularly serving the Bhagavat, hearing the best service also. What's the first aspect of service? Of all the processes of bhakti, devotional service, what's the first? Shravana. So this is the most thing you should hear. That's the first service you should do. You should hear from the Bhagavats. You don't have to do anything else. You might say, I'm completely unqualified. I have no qualification. I don't know anything. You don't have to do anything. Shravana is the nicest because you just literally don't have to do anything. You just come and you just sit down. And then everything else is taken care of. If you just, all you have to do is just pay a little bit of attention and don't get distracted. And then that's it. The Krishna will do the work. If you are hearing from the Bhagavat, Krishna's message, but ultimately Krishna's representative giving that message. So Bhakti Bhavati Naishtaki. So that bhakti will come into being, and so that bhakti unto the Supreme Lord will come into being, and it'll never be taken away. So it's much better. Instead of inauspicious things, you'll have loving devotional service to the Lord. So and to the degree that inauspicious things are there, is just like a lack of actual loving service to the Lord. And to the degree that loving service is there, then inauspicious things will be in lack. So you can measure in your life, okay, how much inauspiciousness, how much priority is on bodily sense gratification, and how much priority is on rendering service unto the Lord. And you can see, oh, I'm quite quite inauspicious, or oh, it's starting to get more auspicious. You could start to measure in your life. But this is the secret. Regularly render service unto the Bhagavat, and it said in the verse before, Shravan and Kirtan. This is the process. Come and hear Krishna's message, and then actually start sharing that message with others, and you'll have good fortune. That's what we're about. We're not here to like make people follow a bunch of rules. We're not here to like make people, you do a bunch of rituals or just mumble a bunch of mantras. That's really not what we're here about. We're trying to help people remove the inauspiciousness in their life, which is causing them and everyone around them suffering, and give them loving devotional service to the Lord, which will make them happy and make everyone else happy. Even if, say, mom's not so happy that her son's becoming a monk, or something like that, which happened to me. But actually now, as years have gone by, my mom is very happy with what's happened in my life. And, my other brothers who, let's just say, did exactly what she was hoping they would do, a bit more, just due to the culture of not having this Bhagavat Seva in their life, a Bhadreshu or inauspiciousness is there. So it naturally causes tension and suffering. It's just natural, actually. So if you're having tension and suffering in your life, it's just due to inauspiciousness. And it's due, and how does inauspiciousness come? Is you still have the tendency towards sinful behavior, whether you can see it or not. The result of sinful behavior is suffering in your life. If you're suffering, it's sinful, just due to like sins in one's life. And if you're happy, it means the removal of sins has come, and then you're actually engaged in good activities. And so the devotee, actually, a true devotee, is always happy. And high bar, right? But Raghunath Das Goswami says we should stop this kapata kutinati, this deceitfulness and hypocrisy, and we should engage, bathe in the nectar of worship of the Lord, and then we could be happy like this. And he's not making anything up. This is actually mentioned in this verse. Bhakti Bhavati Naishtaki, this loving service. Bhakti means love. It's not like, doing that bunch of rituals. I do my bhakti in the morning. I Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Offer this. And bhakti is like love, like devotion. Actually, like love is arisen in one's heart. So, but this actually said this will happen if we always serve the Bhagavad. So that's why we chant this every day. And then now let's actually get into the Bhagavad, even though this is in the Bhagavatam. So we're actually studying the Bhagavad right now and regularly rendering service. You have the good service of doing a little Shravan of the Bhagavatam, and I have the good service of doing a little Kirtan of the Bhagavatam. And by Kirtan is very nice because you get to do Shravan again. By me telling you all in Kirtan, that's me like all rehearing it, and then now also being held accountable, lest I'll be a kapata and kutinati. And if you see like, oh, you say this, this, and this, but you're doing this, this, and this, uh, it'll be Krishna's way to help me purify. So we should always do kirtan, but you have to do some shravan first before kirtan. So anyway, you should always attend classes on the Bhagavatam and render service to the pure devotee. You can't necessarily always find a pure devotee, just purest devotee you can find and render them service, and you'll keep upgrading, and less inauspiciousness will be there. Now, let us go to the verse. I'll have to Google it because I only know the. Well, before we do that, let us chant some mantras glorifying our gurus and teachers, from which we'd have nothing without them. And so,
Sri Chaitanya Mano Mishta Stapitangina Bhutale Sayam Pagadama Kudati Svapadantikam Amandeha Sri Guru Sri Padakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavangscha Sri Rupa Sagajatam Sagana Raghunatham Vitam Kamsajivam Sarvetam Sarvahitam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Visha Kanvitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatmate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Sabda Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishnavani Sute Namami Priya Amshika Patsudasya Vipasidi Devacha Patitanam Pavane Vaishnave Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Krishnaya Krishna Krishnaya Murtale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine. Nirvishesha Shuddhavadi Suchari Shuddharine.
What we just did. We just did that first verse we did, Narayanam Namaskritya. It's like a Mangala Charana verse, is offering respects to all the great personalities who are responsible for giving us this divine wisdom. So we just glorified them all in different mantras. So I offer my respects unto all of my gurus, my Guru Diksha and Guru Shiksha. I offer my respects to our whole Gaudiya Guru Varga, from which this lineage. And I offer my respects to all the Vaishnavas, past, present, and future, including you guys. So thank you guys for coming and hearing about Krishna. The only thing separating every living entity from being a pure devotee is just some time. Everyone's destination is, in real nature, is to be a pure devotee of Krishna. But just in this illusory world, it'll take significant amount of time for most of us to finally receive Krishna's mercy in that way, where we can exist on that platform and have the realization that we want to exist on that platform. That's the only thing separating us. We have no desire for to be a servant of the Lord. We have desires for trillions upon trillions of other things. But when the actual desire to want to serve the Lord will take place, then we'll eagerly seek it out, and then it'll happen very quickly within a lifetime or a few lifetimes. But if we don't have that desire, and we desire all kinds of other things, then what'll happen is we'll suffer, and the suffering will teach us good lessons that, oh, maybe I should try to do something else. Maybe, why am I suffering? What's going on here? And then we might realize, oh, the Lord has a system here. It's all how it all works. And then eventually we may decide, you know what, I should try service to the Lord instead. So you're all here trying. For some reason, you've got pulled here, or you have some realization that you should come and do this devotional service. So just a quiz. What is the main thing you should all focus on? We described them in this verse, not you, Madam. Service to the devotees. And what's the number one most fundamental service? Yes, just listen, hear from the devotees. Just hear. Number one service. If you don't do anything else, just come and hear from the devotees. That's number one service. And what do you get? What will happen if you do that thing? Yes, and what will happen? What practical thing will happen in your life? Three things. Yes, you'll have all auspiciousness in your life, which is Shuddha. But what will happen is first, it's Kleshagni, all inauspiciousness will be cleansed. So your own material ignorance, which is causing you to desire your own hell, like a heroin addict who desires heroin. And even though he's creating his own hell with his own desires, he's still, just due to inauspiciousness in sin in his life, that's what he wants. And he's desiring that which is going to hurt him. But that will actually be cleansed by hearing about the Lord from the Lord's representative, the purer the better. And what will happen instead is all of your troubles will be completely destroyed, and love for God will come instead, which gives happiness. So yes, this is good that you remembered this. So now, hopefully a little urgency was created. I'm going to share a verse. I'm going to try and share two verses, and I have until about 8:10 or 8:15 latest to share these two verses, but they're very important verses. So let me see if I can find it. Let's see what happens if I do that. So ready? This one's going to be a tongue twister. Labdva sudurlabhamidam bahusambhavante Manushyam arthadam anitya apiha dhiraha Tornang yateta napatedanumrityu yavan Nishreyasaya vishaya kalusarvatasya
sarvatasya
Labdva sudurlabhamitam bahusambhavante
Sudurlabhamidam Prabhusambhavante
Manushyamataramamitya pihariraha
Manusyamartadam Nityamapiranaha
Tornang yateta pateranumrityu yavan
Purnam Yatetanapate Anumrityavam
Nishreyasaya vishaya kalu sarvatasya.
Nishresaya Vishaya Sarvatasya.
Okay, so let's first read the translation and then I want to go back. And no, I don't want that. Oh, I think that's why. So let's see. Tanu, you can read.
After many, many births and deaths, one achieves the rare human form of life, which, although temporary, affords one the opportunity to attain the highest perfection. Thus, a sober human being should quickly endeavor for the ultimate perfection of life, as long as his body, which is always subject to death, has not fallen down and died. After all, sense gratification is available even in the most abominable species of
Abominable. Mhm.
abominable species of life, whereas Krishna consciousness is possible only for a human being.
Okay, let's break down the words here. So labdva is we've obtained what? Sudurlabham. That which is very difficult to obtain, actually. Like to get a body like that is very difficult. If you look around the world and you see all of the living entities in this world, only so many are humans. If you just go out on the front lawn and you just really scrutinizingly look at all the different living entities, there's trillions of like billions of plants and microbes and everything. All souls, all living entities, but there's only few people. You know, there's animals and things like that. Some people, I hear Americans are this foolish where they say, I wish I was a dog. I wouldn't have to work. I would, I wish, or I wish I was a cat. I wouldn't have to work. I just lay around and mope around and things like yes.
I used to wish I was a monkey because I get to do all the fun.
Yeah. This is just due to the ignorance of not knowing how rare and valuable this human life is. Because all we can imagine, and actually, don't worry, you can easily be a monkey. You're not going to be a monkey because you're taking to a higher thing, or you could be a dog or a cat. But actually, the reason that we think that these are good is because we're just completely in ignorance. Because this moping around, laying around, and enjoying the bodily senses that animals do, and just living simple lives of sense gratification. It doesn't give happiness. It actually causes suffering. Actually, if you look outside, especially, animals are constantly in fear. Constantly. Try to go talk to a deer outside, and what'll happen? He'll run. They're always spazzing out. Like, go look at the squirrels. They're always like, "Am I gonna die?" And why? Because there's always danger that they could die at any second. It's like natural instinct to try and protect their life. It's a very fearful condition. So actually, to be a human is sudurlabham. It's so rare. Actually, as far as all souls go in the world, it's very rare to be a human. So this human life, all right. Bahu, there's so many sambhavante births. So you actually only achieve this after so many births. If you know how the reincarnation cycle goes, you have to take birth in all the animal species or so many animal species before you can get a human birth. Do you know how long that'll take? There's 8,400,000 species. That's so the Vedas say. I didn't personally count them, but that takes so long. And actually, this is said to be like a great hell, that if you get put back in this cycle of being in animals, because animals can't extricate themselves from this material world. Only a human being can. How? The human being is the only species that can approach God. Only species. You can't bring your dog, your cat, your monkey, your camel, can't bring them in here and try to tell them anything about God. They'll tell them anything about the deeper mysteries of life or the truth. They're just like, they want food, maybe some pets, If they see a mate, they'll immediately run to the mate in a, right in the street, doesn't matter. They'll do it anywhere. And this is animal life. Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. "Rah, rah, this is my house. Rah, rah." You ever pass all the dogs while you're walking down? "Rah, rah, rah, rah," they're defending their territory. And human beings do that too. This is my job. This is my, money. This is my house. And we work and try like anything to defend them. And
Take this.
what are you doing? Oh. So, okay. So anyway, so after many births, you get this human form of life. So Manusham is that human form of life. Arthadam, it's actually so valuable. You can't even imagine how fortunate you are to be in a human body. But when we go and do the humdrum of everyday life, do we feel so fortunate? Yes. Oh, you're so fortunate. You're so fortunate that you're in a human form of life and you can take on the highest activity, at least in this material world. In the spiritual world, we're very much unfortunate in comparison to them. But here in this material world, if you compare us to every 99.99% of souls, we're so fortunate. Why? Um, and this arthadam, there's great value here, but it's anityam. It's not eternal. You don't always get to be a human. You've got about 100 years, 80 years. Actually, you have really like 20 years of prime life. And that's now. You're in that 20 years of prime life. He can't really understand too much right now about this. And when you're old, so much impression is there and energy is lost. You're really not going to get that far if you do it when you're old. You have like 20 years of prime life between like the ages of 20 and 40, and then it's a little before and a little after it just really degrades. So you have, it's not, you don't, this Indian dogma that, oh, spiritual life is just something you do when you're older. It's completely foolish and is debunked by Prahlad Maharaj, where he says he goes through this. This is, you only have so much, this short window of time, and you're spent eating, sleeping, mating, and and especially once you have children, I'm seeing practically my time is just being erased. I only have so much time, and only because I have a nice wife who's merciful on me, and she wants me to go to spend the time learning more spiritual knowledge. But otherwise, I was like, I got to take care of all these responsibilities that I have. So, um, appears although it's not eternal, iha in this material world, it's the best thing you have. Adira, so one who's wise. What does the wise person do? Turnam. Turnam means immediately. They will immediately, once they recognize what is the import of life, Tornam, they will immediately. Yateta, endeavor. Yeah, so that person immediately endeavors. Na is not, Patet has fallen, and Anumritya always subject. So as long as one has not fallen down due to death, this is what they do. This is what you shush. This is what wise people do. So quiz, what do wise people do? Endeavor. Yes, and that's what Nishreya Saya, ultimate liberation, ultimate freedom from the miseries of this world. This is so as long as you have not fallen down in death, the wise immediately endeavor for ultimate liberation. Actually, no other consideration. Yes.
Since we have the consciousness, the animals, but what if suppose there is a family who are like devotees and they have a pet
Yes.
who's basically doing Shravanam all the time?
Yes.
Then what about, like, will that add into his bhakti yoga and will he get a human life
Yes.
form in the next?
Yeah, he should get at least a human form, especially to have the affection of the devotees is he'll have a lot of built sukriti, and to give pleasure, especially pets give a lot of pleasure. Especially dogs are very loyal, and it pleases any master to see how loyal a dog is. So you'll naturally, so if the devotee who is dear to the Lord is having mercy on this animal, that animal will be elevated. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sent dogs right back to Godhead. Personally, he did it. We're not as practicing devotees, don't expect that we can do that. But I have a dog at my parents' home, and he's heard thousands of rounds of the Maha Mantra. He himself still just wants to do a bunch of dog activities, so he's not that fortunate. But at the same time, I even have a cute little video on my phone of me playing on the harmonium in kirtan. We're singing in kirtan, and my dog's a husky, so he's like they're big howlers, and he's just like while we're chanting Hare Krishna, and he's like along with it, and but like just by him giving pleasure, and we all have affection for him, I expect Krishna is going to do something good for him, better than being a dog, you know.
So will
Yeah,
that
and
break the
when
cycle?
what's that?
Suppose to go through a cycle of births
Yes,
of different
that
species
breaks
of
the
animals.
cycle. Yes. Actually, the only thing that can break the cycle of repeated birth and death is the affection of a devotee, the interceding mercy of the devotee, which is the Lord's mercy. The Lord's mercy potency are the devotees. So if you come, the reason you got to where you are, you came across a devotee. Every single one of us. You would not have happened unless the Lord's mercy potency touched you somehow through the devotee. So whatever devotee it was in your life um that brought you into this, they are the source of your good fortune. And they are breaking the cycles of you just gliding in and out of birth and death and suffering for eternity. So yes, it's the devotee's mercy that it breaks all cycles of karma.
So basically, we can help even animals
Yes,
if
yes.
we make them.
You'll help everybody, everyone, animals, humans, anything you touch. If you're insects, as if you're purely serving the Lord, everything that you touch will just be like completely uh, purified, But
We
you,
need to have that.
yeah, well, you have to first find such a personality like that and be purified by them. And then you, being touched by such personalities, can start that process for others. But don't worry about others until you yourself has been thoroughly, that Nityam Bhagavata Seva has actually taken place in your life, and this Nashta Prayeshvabhadra issue, this inauspiciousness has actually been completely destroyed, and that's how you know that the mercy has actually come to you. So, but you also. So the intelligent, the Dira person, Turnam Yateta, they should immediately endeavor, as long as they have not fallen down dead. So have any of you fallen down dead yet today? No. So none of you have fallen down dead. So this is what you should do. You should immediately endeavor for what? Nishrayasaya, ultimate liberation. The process which will free you from all suffering. It's the spiritual religious process. There isn't anything else you should focus on. Why? Vishaya, which is sense gratification, which is why most people are working, why most people are trying to indulge in food, indulge in sex, indulge in this, that, and the other. Kalu, it's always there. Sarvata, in all conditions. Syat. So it'll arise, it'll be possible in anything, whether you're an insect, whether you're a dog, you'll always be able to engage the senses. Pigs, they can just go on the street and they can eat some dog poop and they'll be very happy. They get so much pleasure just from eating dog poop. So animals, it's always available. Animals are always constantly having sex. Pigeons have sex 100 plus times a day. They can have sex. But so the wise person only, they understand that this Vishaya, or the sense gratification, which is taking up the time of 99.99% of living entities in this universe, they know that this is always available, but this Nishrayasaya, this endeavor for ultimate liberation, this is only available to the rare few human form. And that the wise person, they always only do this. Let the animals, Jesus, he knew this when a disciple had come to Jesus and he was, taking so many people with him because he was on the path of Nishrayasaya, taking people out of this material garbage world. And one person, he said, I want to come with you, but my father just died. I have to bury him. And he said, uh, let the dead bury the dead, and if you want eternal life, you come and follow me. And that person said, I'll surely come and follow you, but I can't. I have to be there for my father. It's my worldly duty. It's kind of like his dharma. Krishna says, Sarva Dharma Pratyaja. You have to be willing to abandon all dharma for this. That means even abandoning your, it could be career, it could be family. I mean, luckily my family's like kicking me out of the Dharma. I actually was gonna, even though I knew this opportunity was available, I was like, I can't, it's not practical. We can't bring him, we can't bring her. The finances aren't right. His health is not going to be right. Going to India is not very good for a young American baby, especially being always on the go and traveling. It's just not good conditions. So I was going to stay back. But my wife, luckily, was like, she's realizing that, hey, what you really should do is this ultimate liberation. And she's recommended that I go do this so that she can also benefit. She's realizing what's in her best interest. If someone gets if one of us at least gets some type of spiritual benefit. So anyway, this has to be done. If you don't do this, uh, we don't qualify for being Dhira or a wise person or someone who is sober intelligence, someone who's not intoxicated by illusion. So I don't care whether you're a PhD or you're looking for a job or you're, yes, everyone, PhD is looking for a job or things like that. If you're not making a really immediate endeavor in your life, you're you're missing this rare opportunity and you might blow it. You might blow it. You only have so much time to do this. And if you keep prioritizing dozens and trillions and hundreds and billions and millions of other things other than this process of ultimate liberation, it's just simply due to ignorance. So don't blow it. You only have so much time. And once you know about this, so then Srila Prabhupada and Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, they approached Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati gave a class on this, and they approached him and they said, "But Prabhupada," they called him Prabhupada. They said, "But Prabhupada, we have families, we have jobs, we don't have much time." And he says, immediately endeavoring does not mean renouncing all of this all at once. Immediately endeavoring is slowly acting and gradually reducing the amount of time you spend in these mundane activities, in Vishaya, and engaging more and more and building a practice of Nishrayasaya. And it took Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, I think, like another 20-something years before he was ready to fully renounce. But he started immediately endeavoring. It took Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj a shorter amount of time to completely give up a lot of his material activities. So anyway, it's going to take time. It's not that you just immediately give up everything. But no, you should endeavor. That means you take up more and more practices of bhakti. That means you reduce the nonsense activities. You reduce the vishaya, or the sense gratification elements of your life, and you increase elements of nishrayasaya. And only a fool won't immediately take steps. Only a fool will continue on in vishaya and doesn't take any endeavor in nishrayasaya. So that's my presentation, you could say. There's one more verse I want to share with you, but I only have 10 minutes to do it. I'm a little selfish. So this is a similar verse. This is all in the Uddhav Gita, by the way. This is Uddhav's instructions to Krishna. So, ready? I'm a little selfish because I want to refresh my own verses that I've memorized in my life. So I'm making you guys do class with me on things I just want to memorize better. So, but well, you're very welcome. That's the good thing about bhakti. If you have even your own selfish and desires benefit everyone. If you,
Sri Maharaj said that we should be, people say don't be selfish, but actually we should be selfish, but we should understand what the actual self is. And
Yes.
once you understand what the actual self is, the best thing is to be selfish because it benefits everyone.
yes. So you should understand. So Now for my own selfish, desire to learn this verse better, we'll together. Ready? Nerdehamadyang sulabang sudurlabang. Now you guys. Lavang sukalpam gurukar karnadaram. Ayanukulena nabashvateritam. Kuman bhavabdhing nataretsa atmaha. Nirdehamadyang sulabam sudurlabam. Plavang sukalpam guru kanadaram. Mayanukulena nabashvateritam. Human bhavabdhing nataretsa atmaha. Okay, let's get Satvik, you want to read this one?
The human body, which can award all benefit in life, is automatically obtained by the laws of nature. Although it is a very rare achievement, this human body can be compared to a perfectly constructed boat having the spiritual master as a captain and the instructions of the personality of Godhead as favorable winds impelling it on its course. Considering all these advantages, a human being who does not utilize his human life to cross the ocean of material existence must be considered the killer of his own soul.
Chai. Do you want to kill your soul? Who wants to kill your soul? But you might have to, if you are honest with yourself, you might see, oh, I've been murdering my soul all of my existence. And I spend 98% of my day murdering my soul.
How do you harmonize with the Gita saying
What?
that you cannot be, the soul cannot be slain by fire?
Yeah, it's killing here. The soul is not actually slayed, but the soul is, completely covered over and practically inactive, and practically eternally inactive. All the living entities here, pretty much, yeah. If you had like this, shush. So if you had like a light bulb, but it was so covered over that it didn't shine any light. Even though inside the function is working as a light bulb, it's useless. So this is what we are. We're like this beautiful light, divine light, but due to our covering and what we've been covered by, we're practically useless and killers of our own soul. So it's not like the soul is actually dead, but it's practically inactive due to our covering. So Nirdeham is a human body. Adyam is the source of all favorable results. So you have this wonderful body. Again, Krishna is saying how how much fortunate you are to be in a human body. So any ideas to be a monkey or a dog or a cat, just get them out of your consciousness and know you actually have the best thing right now. Sulabam, uh, so it's effortlessly, it's easily obtained. You didn't try to obtain a human body. Even though it's rare, it just came to you. Like who remembers when you transitioned into being a human? You have no idea when. It just kind of came. And it comes by nature. So you have it now. You've already got it. It's like by good fortune. It's easily came. But Sudurlabam, although it's impossible to obtain even with great endeavor, it's very difficult to obtain. And you're not even with great endeavor, you may not obtain it unless somehow or other you've been directed in the right path. Um, there's no millionaire or billionaire. They can't buy their way or they can't make some great material endeavor to get a human body in the next life. It's no guarantee. Only by the mercy of the Lord and the Lord's devotee can assure such a thing. So, plavam, it's like a boat. Sukalpam, it's like a well-designed boat. It's well suited for its purpose. So a really well-designed boat. So this is your boat. Very, very expert, well-designed boat. Very nice instrument that we have here, this human body. But Guru Karnadaram. So it's designed to have a Guru Karnadaram as the captain of the boat. So this boat is designed to be guided by a guru. And he says Karnadaram. Here is how is it guided? Dharam is guided how? Karna, through the ear. So this boat is meant to be guided through the ear. Even if you just notice, who here likes anyone like Tony Robbins in this world?
I used to.
You ever hear of Tony Robbins? He's just like a motivational speaker.
He's like a Jay Shetty.
What?
You know Jay
He
Shetty?
he does help. All right, how about like
He's
Jay
like-
Shetty, Jay Shetty and all these people. These like motivational speakers. What is touching people so much? They're just speaking, but actually they're guiding them through the ear. They're acting like as their guru. And actually this can transform people's lives. Nothing can transform our life more than hearing something profound. That just transforms our life immensely. Many people say, I know my dad personally. He was engaged in all kinds of vishaya. He was dating my mom, but he wasn't so fixed on my mom. He was just thinking, American culture, just like, oh, have my cake, eat it too. I'll keep her around, but I want to do all kinds of other things. But he had some, things happening in his life that the Lord was reciprocating with a lot of suffering in his life. And he ended up going to a sausage shop of all places. But he met a
Mr.
Mr. Latito.
Mr. Latito.
His name is Mr. Latito. He was the owner of this Italian town. And Mr. Latito, actually, he could see my dad. He was older than my dad, much older than my dad. And he could see my dad was suffering. And he said, Ronnie, can I pray with you? And he knew with his connection to God that he was missing God in his life. He was missing that higher purpose. And that experience was so profound in getting the experience with Mr. Latito and Mr. Latito comforting him and showing him spiritual life. And it was so profound on my dad that my dad ever since then became, like he said, that was when he was born again as like a Christian. And he said he decided he would marry my mom and everything that was going wrong. He decided he wanted to do right. And it completely changed his life. So this is actually what the human body is designed to do. It's designed to be guided through the ear. But you need a good captain, and that's why it's so essential that we find a guru. That's why it's so essential that we find a personality who can guide us. And if you can't find the topmost personality in existence, because we can't all be the guru, the topmost person. Most people won't even recognize. Just find, like my dad had the sausage shop owner act as his guru in some way. And it was helpful for him. I would say now that Mr. Latito is gone, and even if Mr. Latito was still around, I would say my dad should keep searching for higher level gurus that will help him. But maybe he does actually. The pastor at his local church is kind of taking that role in his life now. But similarly, just like my dad, we all have this opportunity to find higher level teachers, more advanced personalities that can guide us. And by that process, this is fulfilling what the human body is meant to do. If you're not taking guidance, you're just on this beautiful, amazing machinery, but no, not using it properly. Like if you imagine like a blender. If you don't plug the blender in to the power source and you try to just stick apples in it and, let me get the apples and then let me jam a wooden spoon in here and let me use the blender like this. Yeah, you might mash up a few apples, but it'll be way better if you just plug it in and let it run nicely and, make some applesauce. It's on my mind because we make Abhiram applesauce. She does actually. Makes Abhiram applesauce. But, this is the point of the human body, to be guided by a guru. Guru Karnadaram. So Krishna is saying, Maya Anukulena. He says, by my, and Anukulena is favorable. Nabashvata wins, iritam. So he's impelled by me with these favorable winds. And that, what is by Krishna? What are his favorable winds? Does anyone remember the verse? What is to be impelled by Krishna? Yes, to take of his instructions, like we're doing right now, hearing his wisdom in the scriptures. That's what the guru is guiding us in the scriptures. He's ultimately connecting us to Krishna and Krishna's instructions. So these are instructions are like the favorable winds. Remember your boat, you have a nice, well-designed boat, and now you even have a nice captain. But what else do you need? What's going to empower that captain and what's going to empower this boat? It's Krishna himself, the favorable winds of his instructions. So that's what he should be versed in, and that's what's going to propel you forward and make advancement in life. You have to take the wisdom scriptures. You have to take Krishna's instructions. But there's another you could say here. Puman, a person, a bhavav team in this ocean of material existence, Nataret, who does not take the guru and does not take Krishna's favorable instructions, Sa Atmaha. He's the killer of his own soul. So my conclusion is, do not kill your soul. Do not be the killer of your own soul. Take the instructions of Krishna's representative to the best of your ability. In your life, you all have some representative of Krishna already there. There's some devotee who is already helping you, and there's a most qualified devotee. Take shelter of the most qualified devotee you can find in your life, or the most spiritually advanced personality in your life. And keep searching out more advanced spiritual personalities in your life and hear their conclusions. Why? Because they are empowered by the favorable winds of Krishna and they're going to move you forward. But the one who doesn't take this path, he is Sa'atmaha. He is the killer of his own soul. So please do not kill your soul. And guess what? 99% of our lives, we've been killing our soul, and 99% of people more are killers of their own soul, and they're greatly unfortunate and they're suffering immensely. But do not take that path. You have been graced devotional wisdom. You've been graced devotees in your life who can help you. So take the opportunity. Don't be foolish. Don't you remember that Vishaya is available. You can go eat, sleep, have sex, and acquire power, position, wealth, all and defend it all you want, but that's available in any stage of life. So uh, this shouldn't even be the most prominent part of your life. These things all just come by karma anyway. You don't have to work hard to get money. You don't have to work hard to get position and things like that. They'll actually all just come. Whether you you could drop out of school and you could go, I'm moving back to India, or I'm gonna, and if you're meant to get a certain amount of money, Krishna will arrange. You'll meet the right person. It's gonna happen anyway. You can't, you don't. People are in illusion thinking, no, you have to work hard to get stuff. This is called karma kanda, but no, you don't actually. It comes automatically due to your past karma. It's by destiny already. You can't do anything to change it. You've done millions of lifetimes of past karma. You're not going to be able to do any work in this lifetime that's going to change the result. It's already going to come. And any inspiration to do any work at all is already coming from your past karma. So now you're just fulfilling it. So anyway, this is what you should do. Your human body is designed to be guided spiritually through the messages of Krishna, through a guru. Use that, and one who doesn't, you will murder their own soul and just completely waste the opportunity. So that's my presentation today. Please don't waste this opportunity. We've already wasted so much of this opportunity in this life. By good fortune, maybe Abhiram will have the best chance because he's starting so early. And if you have children, which is possible for the couples in the room one day, or anyone who's going to probably get married, you can guide them in this way and give them an opportunity to not waste their life, like unfortunately most are doing. So that is my presentation. Any question before we do arati? Yes.
We cleanse the material desires from the heart. We have to develop the urge to hear Krishna's messages.
Yes.
And like I want to hear Krishna's messages, but I often find myself like, on a daily basis, I hear some Hari Katha, I do some little reading or something, but oftentimes still the tendency is, there's many other things I also like, the tendency to even sometimes scroll on YouTube Shorts or something, as an example,
Yeah.
over just listening to a lecture is there. So, how can I just really, like, I want to develop the desire, the urge to always hear Krishna's messages.
So what you're missing is Nityam Bhagavata Seva. You have to regularly hear, and also it could be the quality of how you're hearing. Just sitting in class isn't necessarily hearing. To actually be attentive and to be really enthusiastic for that aspect of your life. And then also, even when you're listening to lectures, if you're cooking a million things and doing a million things and you're really not in the position to hear, you're not going to get the same benefit as if you're really trying to hear. So, and then the other aspect is that the pure devotees that you associate with and hear from, the more potent the effect. So all these things have to be measured. What pure devotees are you associating with and hearing with? What endeavors would you like to make to do that in your life? And then also, what is the quality of yourself in actually hearing? Are you actually there to hear? Or are you just showing up and mind on a million other things? But if you actually develop the urge to hear, which is you're saying, then the material desires, you'll actually go and hear, and then the material desires will be cleansed. But yeah, you if you really want to do that, I mean, you have an opportunity every day here by hearing the Bhagavatam as we present it, and even now. But obviously you should get more than that too. You should find, you have guru in your life, multiple forms of guru in your life that are helping you. So yeah, just try to increase the activity, and if any staleness ever comes and you feel like you're not making more advancement, then you need to uh, get a different perspective, another um, you should hear also from other advanced souls to keep you inspired. And so this is the process, and it's not difficult, but we're difficult, so we make all kinds of other priorities in our life. Oh no, I have to do this, I have to do this, and maybe find a little time to hear from advanced souls. But this is not Dhira. Dhira is you immediately endeavor and you do anything you can to position yourself with the purest devotees that you can, and in that you'll all inauspiciousness will go away, and love will arise instead in your life, and that's love for Krishna. So yeah, find the quality of devotees in your life, and then also be a quality of a recipient of the knowledge. Be a sincere hearer, and then you'll have no problem. But yeah, it could be you're only getting a little association with just us here, and maybe you're not even paying attention that deeply. Maybe you are, I don't know. But yeah, see who you can hear from, and then how you can be actually someone who's capable of hearing. So many people met Prabhupada, so many people came to hear Prabhupada who actually was able to hear him. Yes. So your job is to just be sincere, and then Krishna will also, in your sincerity, he'll also line you up with pure and pure sources to help you. So
We're talking a lot about the Dom.
Yeah. This is very good with Dham Seva. All the sadhus, they gather in the Dham, and you'll have your opportunities for hearing will be greatly increased. So you should take some time at some point. Go to India. Maybe it could be a couple's journey to go here in the Dham. We love to do it. This year I'm going alone for the first time, well, second time, but wasn't our plan. But she's recognizing it's in her best interest also that I also get inspired as well, so that I actually can act in my role as a proper husband. So yeah, is that clear? Anything?
He wants to do that today.
What? Yes, he wants to do kirtan every day.
You gotta run. Come on, you
Yeah, I'm already. He's really going.
It's
So
already 8:30. Are you doing RT's time?
yeah, we have to do arati. Yes. So all right. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.